The idea through this campaign of putting them both together is, number one, to raise enough money for both organizations to make it through an entire year without having to sweat.
Aviva Zelenik is here, mother of a child who was saved by Hatzoloh, living here in Toronto, Canada. Good morning, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know to what degree we could discuss the details, but whatever you're willing to tell us would be great. Could you let us know what type of episode this was and how Hatzoloh came through for your family?
Sure. My daughter was probably 2 years old, maybe almost 2. She woke up in the middle of the night with a very bad cough. And as a first-time mom, I kind of, just thought it was a regular cold. Sat with her for a little bit until I started realizing she was having a really hard time breathing, to the point where she wasn't. Her mouth was open and she was trying to cry. Her face was kind of turning a little, not the color you want anyone's face to turn. And frantically, my husband and I were running around trying to figure out what to do. We had the Hatzoloh sticker on our board, and I told him to call. And within, I would say, 2 minutes, Chaim Weinberger, if I can say his name, walked into my house, kind of like this aura of calmness. Sat down with all of his things and his team. Had a mask on my daughter within a couple of seconds, and with the proper medication to help get oxygen running to her again. Constantly just talking to us, keeping us calm, telling us, what to do. And then about probably 15-20 minutes later, the paramedics showed up. And to this day, if I would have waited for the paramedics, I don't really know what would have happened. And even it goes past that. Even the next day, I got probably 3 phone calls from Chaim asking me how I am, if I went to the doctor, what he can do, does he want me to stop in? And they're just a great, and it happened more than once. Fortunately, after that first episode, we knew exactly what to do, and our first phone call was always to Hatzoloh, and it was always Chaim that came to our house. He lives within a very close distance to my house, so he was always there. He came when my son had croup. He came when my daughter had a couple of more episodes. Always the same, calm aura of a man, and always following up with everything. He came when I had my 3rd child. He even stayed after the paramedics left. He held my baby at 2:00 in the morning and wanted to know about, how he was. Just a great organization that I don't think I would ever be able to, I don't think anyone can live without.
How is your daughter doing?
Great, thank God. She's great. Croup is something that supposedly children outgrow. So after, pretty sure we had Chaim in our house 4 times for her. So after she hit the age of 3, we were done with her. Then my son got it a couple of times. Yeah, it's not a fun experience, right. But when you have Hatzoloh down the block from you, there's definitely that.
Makes it a little easier to deal with, huh?
Exactly.
Speaking with Aviva Zelenik, whose child was saved by Hatzoloh. You live in what neighborhood here in Toronto?
Down south is what we would call it.
And how would you classify this community to people? Those who've never been here, those who've never heard of it till this morning, that there's a Jewish community up here. What would you say to our listeners would best describe this community?
The Toronto community is very close-knit, especially the down south community. A lot of us grew up here. We were born and raised within, a certain radius. We all know each other quite well. We frequent the same, schools, shuls, and everyone is really just supportive of each other. It doesn't matter if you're the same age. It doesn't matter if your kids are the same age. It doesn't matter, even what school or shul you go to. Everyone really is, it's a very tight-knit community. Everyone feels like very much at home. You
were asked for obvious reasons to speak about Hatzoloh this morning. Could you say a word about the importance of having an Eruv up here as well and maintaining it? What would a Jewish community be without it at this point, huh?
I don't remember anything else.
Right, that's true.
I'm going to be able to push a stroller, and of course, it's also an extremely important cause. Both of them. I think it's a great idea that Yami joined both of these important causes together, and of course, anything that Yami and his team come up with is always going to generate some major buzz in Toronto, and hopefully within a couple of hours they'll be able to reach, if not surpass, their goal.
So you do anticipate a very successful day today, thank God.
I don't doubt it.
Everybody out there, you have, all day long, but as we've been saying, you could, before the campaign even officially starts, you can go to charidy.com/Toronto, Charidy, CHARIDY.com/Toronto, and participate in all this. You mentioned that your family's from here, right? Your
Yes.
family's from
Yeah.
Toronto, and it sounds like for quite a while, right? A generation or two?
I was born, my parents were not born here, but I was born here within 3 blocks away. We moved, whenever we moved, it was always within a 2-block radius. And then when I got married, I moved to, just across the main Bathurst Street. But yeah, and all my friends that I grew up with, we all kind of stayed in this area and welcomed everybody new to this area. And again, it's just it's home for us.
And you've seen the community respond positively many times to needs like this.
Oh, for sure. Whenever there's a need like this, or a need in general, this community really steps up big time. It doesn't matter if it's something that they use on a regular basis, or if it's a school that their kids don't even go to. But when this community finds an organization that needs their help, we're there.
I want to thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Aviva, and best
Enjoy.
regards to your daughter and the entire family.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Aviva Zelenik is helping us remind everybody about why it's so important to support these two causes this morning.